I have a small game to talk about this time, so extra short preamble. Here's why I love the Pinball Wizard. Okay, can I immediately interrupt this video with something I'm excited about? Of course I can. I have full control over this. Demon's Tilt is getting a sequel. Xeno Tilt. The game looks like more of the same, and I'm happy about that. Demon's Tilt is a really good pinball game. Back to our regularly scheduled video. The Pinball Wizard is a charming little pinball game. I've expressed my love of pinball games in the past, and how I feel that it's an underserved genre in terms of video games. I'll take anything pinball I can get, is what I'm trying to say. This game is such a fun little pinball game. It isn't perfect, but we'll get to that. The Pinball Wizard is a game where you play as a wizard who gets bonked around with pinball flippers. You're fighting slimes, bats, spiders, and spiky little mushroom guys by smacking into them. Once you clear a room, you can continue to ascend the tower. You collect gems and coins to boost your high score. Every time you lose a level, your score translates to XP and you unlock some abilities for your wizard. You get 2 active abilities as you go, a magic orb and a dash. The dash is used to do bonus damage to enemies or to help maneuver the wizard around the table. The orb is also used to hit enemies, but it basically acts like a multi-ball, my favorite pinball bonus. The rest of the abilities are passives to help you earn more points and survive more rooms. This is a fairly casual pinball game, as it's pretty easy to climb the tower and it's fairly forgiving. You don't have a set number of balls, you have a life bar, and you lose some of that when you hit an enemy when they're in the danger state, or when you fall off the board. Mostly, you lose to hitting enemies at the wrong time. The flippers are large and the gobble hole is small. You know, the gobble hole? This thing, the gobble hole. So you rarely fall that way. There are a few ways to get health back too. You can keep yourself alive by hitting heart barrels, or, if you have the vampire skill, by killing enemies. The core of the game is the tower, which is really fun. It introduces new enemies and elements at a good pace as you progress. The tower is something you can challenge yourself to try to complete in one go, or you can start at any floor you've previously been to. This does have an ending. There is a final boss on floor 21, but there are other ways to play the game. There are 2 different dungeons that say they're infinite, but I've never actually completed them, so I don't know. And there's the daily table, but I'm not sure exactly how many different tables they cycle through for that one. Point is, though, you have options for when you want to play more. The daily is most likely to keep a leaderboard that resets every day to keep up competition. You can compete for high scores in the dungeons as well, which of course you'll want to do because this is a pinball game after all. I guess that flows perfectly into the issues I have with this game. High scores really reward players who play the game a lot. That sounds a little silly. I don't mean that longtime players will have improved skills to get great scores. I mean that the more you play, the more skills you have unlocked, and some of these directly impact your final scores. One skill just increases the score of every action in the game, another gives you points just for moving around the table. If someone has unlocked all these skills, they will be far beyond the scores of people who don't have these skills. I guess it isn't too much of an issue, people aren't like winning money or whatever here, but it does mean if you want that number 1 spot, you have to grind out those skills and abilities, which does kinda stink. It does mean I can get a high score fairly easily, but I bet there are better pinball players with fewer upgrades that don't beat my score despite being better players, as exemplified by these scores. The game is also a bit janky. Sometimes you get hurt when you aren't supposed to. Slimes turn orange when they hurt you, but sometimes they still hurt you for a bit after they change back to blue. You also bounce around in some weird ways, usually when interacting with slopes or bombs when you dash. You may go flying off screen, which counts as falling down the gobble hole, but this can suck a lot because it usually happens right after you get hit, and then you fly off the stage, and then you die. My last complaint is that the final boss is kind of boring, both in terms of gameplay and design. It's just a giant worm you have to whack in the butt a lot. Oh, and it's the same boss at the end of every game mode. I feel all these complaints is very minor, as I really have a ton of fun with this. And I think people looking for a casual pinball game would love this one. This game is very charming. The art style is adorable. The music is fine. I think there are only 2 tracks, and while neither is bad, there's just not very much. It isn't a very big game, doesn't take too long to complete the tower. There are other ways to play if you want to keep going, but they aren't that in-depth. You'll still have plenty of fun just playing a few quick rounds of Wizard Pinball. I think the strongest thing I can say about this game is it's only $8, so it being a little simpler and not like a 50-hour experience is fine. If you're looking for a fun pinball game, you kinda can't go wrong here. And if you're skeptical, this will for sure be on sale in the future. So, go be a little pinball wizard. I can't believe I waited until the end of the video to make a pinball wizard joke. Howdy y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video and this cute game. I really am trying to get more videos out more often this year, but life does a good job of keeping me busy. I have tons of ideas for more videos coming up, so look forward to that. I'm not sure what will be next, so I can't make some comment about it coming and tease what it could be about, so just be ready, I guess?